ahon sa kahirapan movement. Lotto operators, trabahadores, tayadors, and outcasts sa lipunan party list. Volunteers for Personality and Community Development. Ang Siguro Inc., Social Support Strategy Party, Katipunan ng Mamamayang May Obligasyon sa Bayan, Agila ng Masang Pilipino, Barangay Mo Party List, Alliance for Social Progress and Reform Inc., Movement for Responsible and Accountable Leaders Worldwide, Ayuda. In the matter of the petition of Tribu Agalon, Gamers and Gadgets Welfare Party. May member ba dito ng Gamers and Gadgets? Okay. Guardians Philippines International Inc. Pamayanang organisado may galing at integridad. Gamers Guild, PH. Isang advokasya sa alternatibong panggagamot, pangkabuhayan at pagsasaka. Alyansang Lahing Samaritan. Ako Mamamayang Pilipino 20. Ako Mamamayang Pilipino 21, sorry. Wired and Wireless Internet for Filipino. One Ako Driver. Respeto, integridad, disiplina, edukasyon para sa reforma sa sistema ng Pilipinas. Ipaglaban mo sectoral party list. Ang Federalist. Damayang Filipino Movement. Crusaders for Reform Movement. Multi-Tribal Movement in the Philippines. Antigo One. Justice Redeemed. Barog Southern Leyte Provincial Political Party. PhilCup Party List. Anti-Crime and Community Emergency Response Team. Dugong Dakilang Seaman. Champ Movement as a national political Champ Movement. Philippine Champ Movement. Maharlika People's Party. Aktibong koalisyon ng organisadong Guardians. Ang Bagong Barangay Natin, Acting Arts and Pen, Alliance of Non-Stock Savings and Loan Institutions, Advocates of Land Rights, Mindanao Allies, Registration of Partido, two termino, yon. OFW Coalition Party. Bagong Bayani ng Masa. One Agila Tayo. Progressive Bangsamoro Party. Makakalikasan Nature Party. Philippine National Federation of Ethnic Groups. Partido ng Bayang Maharlika. Inventre Pinoy. Inventre Pinoy. Anak Maharlikang Pilipino. CISRS-GPI. Sikat Pilipinas. Lupang Hinirang Philippines. Grecon Party List. Kaabag Party and Kasipag. So, yan yung 76 na so far nasa listahan ng may final dismissal. Bigyan namin kayo ng kopya later on. Okay? Wala pa ring decision sa PDP, wala pa ring ruling doon. Doon sa, and I think the most pressing question on your minds is tomorrow's pre-con, right? I just spoke to the clerk of the commission. Yung pre-con natin is not open to the public. It's a virtual meeting, but it is not accessible to the public or to the media. So,
ano for release, sabi ng
wala na. Hawakan mo muna. Okay, so yes. Kabit niyo muna to.
Konti lang, konti, move lang ng konti.
Maikli lang naman to kasi meron lang akong kailangan ipaliwanag. Yes.
But sir,
Para lang sa story na yun, sir.
Oh.
Without going to specifics, what are the grounds?
Okay.
Yung pag ganyan, sir, yung denial of accreditation bid, the grounds provided for in the rules.
Wala. Okay. Okay. Sige, never mind na. I'll just give you the presentation na lang. I'll read it from my laptop. Ganito. For the most part, the ones that I've seen denied have been denied really on procedural grounds. No? Yung kanilang mga pleadings were incomplete. Kulang sila doon sa kanilang mga jurisdictional allegations. Right? So, for the most part, yun ang nakikita kong dahilan. Ang dami din kasi. So, I suppose it's inevitable na may mga ganun talaga tayo makikita. The list can still grow. If they filed with a CONA, then yes, that would be the consequence. Right. Okay. Yung sa Zoom, nakikita na ba tayo? Okay na? Okay na, no? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commission on Elections recently released several resolutions to do with the legal framework of the elections, and we will be scheduling briefings for the gun ban resolution because it's really thick, no? And we'll be scheduling a full briefing also for the Fair Elections Act. But just a couple of things about the Fair Elections Act. A lot of you may have noticed the requirement to submit the websites is supposed to end by 30 days after the filing of the COC. But the RESO itself came out very close to 30 days after the filing of COC. So medyo it has to be amended, right? So that's up for amendment. Anything else that anyone might have objections to about that resolution, please submit a letter to the Comelec calling our attention to whatever provision you find questionable. Maybe argue your case, and then we will submit it to the NBank for consideration. Okay? Apart from that, we also have the campaign guidelines. Now, the campaign guidelines have already been reported out in its next to final form with the JCOC. No? Sa committee ni, sorry, hindi pala JCOC ata yun, sa committee ni Senator Amy Marcos. And just as an overview, what that resolution says is that it is the resolution that will handle or govern physical campaigning. All right. This is opposed to the Fair Elections Act (IRR), which deals specifically with the use of broadcast advertising for propaganda. Okay, para lang malinaw, wala sa 9006 yung in-person campaigning because 9006, the law really doesn't do that, right? In-person campaigning, rallies, caucuses, meetings, etc. This is the subject of the Omnibus Election Code. So, we will create Comelec campaign committees. Comelec campaign committees at various levels. You have them at the national, you have them at the regional, and then at the municipal. All right? So meron tayong campaign committees. Now, ano yung trabaho ng campaign committees? The first and probably the most consequential thing that the CCC will do is to classify category levels. You're aware na meron na tayong level 1, 2, 3 system, no, ng IATF. We will be mirroring that with our own category levels for the purpose of deciding kung gaano kahigpit yung restrictions sa in-person campaigning. There will be a graduated scale of restrictions that are corresponding to alert levels, essentially. Okay, so for example, if you're at alert level 5, in-person campaigning is not allowed. Ganun siya kasimple. But if you're alert level 3 or lower, then pwede na. Pag alert level 3, in-person campaigning, for example, a candidate or campaign leader may be accompanied by a maximum of 3 support staff. Whereas under level 2, that will be 5 support staff. Under alert level 1, which is basically normal, there'll be no limit. So meron tayong graduated scale, right, of what's allowed and what's not. This will also apply for caucuses or meetings. Doon naman, ang pag-uusapan natin, yung utilization ng capacity, right? So at alert level 1, you're allowed up to 70% of the capacity of the venue. And then the other extreme, alert level 5 or category level 5, you are not allowed to hold caucuses, right? Okay. So again, this is in the resolution. We will be, I think you already have copies of that resolution. Yes. Sorry? Ano na? Sa campaign period, February pa. So all of these things that you're seeing now will not be covered by this yet. But we hope that this will be guidance for the law enforcement authorities now. Okay? Okay. Apart from that, number 2, the Comelec campaign committees will accept, approve, or disapprove applications for the conduct of election campaigns. Meaning, now, magkakaroon na tayo ng permit process. No? Kailangan na humingi ng mga kandidato na permiso para magkampanya in person. Okay? So there is a specified process for that, and that is for them to write a letter to the CCC at their level. Merong required attachments and merong specific information required. For in-person campaigning, ito yung mga walk-arounds, no? Kailangan mag-provide ng proof of identity of the companions, right? So, kunyari, meron kang companions na 5, you have to give their names and their identities to the Comelec. You must also provide the Comelec the date, time, place of the event, as well as the names of the companions, right? For motorcades and caravans, there must be a permit duly issued by the local government unit concerned. So, if you're talking about motorcades and caravans, kailangan may permit ka from the LGU na isasubmit mo ngayon sa Comelec. So basically 2 permits. We need to know the date and time of the event, the starting point, the intended routes, and the end point of the motorcade. For caucuses, meetings, conventions, indoor rallies, and other election campaign activities held indoors, there must be proof of reservation of the venue and proof of the Department of Tourism accreditation of the venue where the event will be held. This is necessary because right now, when we talk about venues like this, they are under the ambit of the Department of Tourism, and the Department of Tourism evaluates them for compliance with health protocols. No? So if we get an accreditation from the DOT, then there is that level of confidence that this place is fit for use during the pandemic. So we need the date and time of the event, as well as the maximum capacity of the venue. For rallies and meeting de avance, which are held outdoors, permits duly issued by the local government unit concerned. That's what we need. A permit from the local government unit, as well as the usual date, time, and place of the event, as well as an indication or a recounting of the measures that have been taken to ensure the safety of the attendees. Okay? So, yan yung second task ng Comelec Campaign Committee. Now, part of the task of the Comelec Campaign Committee is to monitor the conduct of the election campaigns. And we will do this in partnership with the barangay officials, the TANODs, and the members of the Barangay Health Emergency Response Team, as well as the armed services, PNP and AFP. For this purpose, madedeputize natin yung mga barangay officials. The Comelec Campaign Committee will also prepare reports as regard the conduct of election campaigns, and they will perform such other functions as may be determined by the Commission. So yan yung scope ng trabaho ng CCC, Comelec Campaign Committee. First, they will determine the category level for a particular area. Number two, they will be giving permits for rallies. Number three, they will interface with the barangay tanods and local health officials. Number four, they will write the reports to basically recount how the campaigns went. And finally, any other task given to it by the Comelec, by the Commission and Bank. All right? Now, very important, violations of these rules will be considered an election offense under sections 87, 88, and 89 of the Omnibus Election Code. All right? This may result in imprisonment of not less than 1 year, but not more than 6 years, and shall not be subject to probation. It can result also in disqualification to hold public office, as well as any political party being found guilty might be sentenced to pay a fine of not less than 10,000 pesos. So, may kulong, may disqualification, may fine. All right? But, caveat, just as a caveat for those who might be too excited, dadaan sa due process lahat ito. Meaning to say, hindi nyo ma-expect na pag may nakita kayong violation, bukas disqualified na. It doesn't work that way. Okay? Violations of Section 9 Section 9D of Republic Act 1133-2, or the mandatory reporting of notifiable diseases and health events of Public Health Concern Act. Mouthful. And Section 1, Paragraph F, Rule 11 of its 2020 revised implementing rules and regulations, and under other relevant laws and rules, right? So we will have to see for each violation kung saan siya mahuhulog, right? Because there'll be different penalties for each. For violations of the Republic Acts, there'll be a fine of not less than 20,000 but not more than 50,000, imprisonment of not less than 1 month but not more than 6 months, or both fine and imprisonment. All right? So that's the most substantial part of the presentation. I was also going to give you an update on the number of voters that we're expecting. As of today, the projected number of voters for 2022 stands at 65.5 million. 65.5 million. Throughout the entire registration process, we added to the list of voters a total of 8,147,080. 8,147,080. That's a total number of additions. So kasi meron tayong mga reactivations and reinstatements. Okay? So we're going to break that down for you some more. But just to point directly to the new registrants, because if you remember, at the start of all of this, we said that we expected around 4 million people to turn 18. Around 4 million to turn 18. As it turns out, we got 4,094,614. That's 4,094,614. Ito yung mga nagparehistro 18 to 21 years old. Yung 18 years old, specifically 18 talaga, they numbered 171,033. 171,033. The largest group of registrants in the 18 to 21 bracket are the 21-year-old registrants, amounting, coming up to a total of 750,578 for males, 796,891 for females. Oo, so mas marami ang babae kesa sa lalaki. All right? And finally, let me just tell you that we have already refurbished 99.6% of the VCMs. 99.6% of the VCMs, that's 96,981. Kaya maganda talaga may PowerPoint sana. But we do have a number of them in quarantine. Ibig sabihin, ongoing pa yung repairs. That's tumataginting na 334 units.
Sir, yung
96981. 96981. 334. 334 or 0.3%. Okay? There'll be other tests. All right, we've already done 2 rounds of lab tests. So that's done. The 3rd round is undergoing validation. It was completed November 2021, but we're still validating the results of that. The international certification is winding down. The international certification that's carried out right now in Huntsville, Alabama, by the company called Pro VNV, that's winding down, which means that we are looking to have a final trusted build early in December. For those of you who are here before, the final trusted build is where we assemble all the different components of the programs that will run the VCMs, the EMS, and the canvassing system. So dyan na natin bubuin yung ating sistema. And that process will result in a hash code. The hash code is essentially a digital fingerprint that will allow you to know if the system that's being run on election day is the same system that was subjected to a trusted build. How will you know this? The hash code that is generated from the trusted build will be posted on the website. So anyone who wants to check it can check it. Now that hash code will be seen in the machine itself, in the VCM. So on election day, sa lahat ng VCMs, pwedeng matignan doon sa LCD display ng makina yung ating hash code. And you can make sure na match yan dalawa. Why is this matching so important? The matching is important because the way hash codes work, again, for those of you who weren't here last time, the way hash codes work is that if you change anything in the program that generates that hash code, the hash code itself will change. So kung yung hash code mo kunwari, just as an example, is 12345, if you change anything in the system, even just a comma or an enye, the whole hash code will change, which makes the whole system tamper evident, right?
only one hash code for the entire system.
There'll be hash codes for all the systems. So magkakaibang hash code yan. No? Ibang hash code for the canvassing system, ibang hash code for the ETS, for the EMS, iba yan. But all the hash codes will be published.
And the final trusted build in 30 December, Director,
Yes.
that is for the assembly of all programs running the entire AES.
Yes, the entire AES, not just the VCM. Okay? All right. We are tentatively scheduling mock elections for the end of December. So the last week of December, ang mock elections. Basta, last week of December. Okay, the date I have on my computer here is actually not very far from what you said, but it's the last week of December. All right. Okay ka dun? Try 29. No, but that's a tentative date. Basta last week of that's your window. That's our window. Mock elections will be the last week. We will firm up the actual date as we get closer. We have that. The mock elections will be a public test. We will use actual voters to see how it behaves in the field. Prior to that, there is a field test to determine if the precinct and canvass results can be electronically transmitted from the field to wherever it is supposed to go. That one is an internal test kasi it's all software. So it's really nothing to see. But the mock elections, that's the one for public coverage so that we will have actual voters actually lining up to vote. Kita na natin yan. Okay? So that's a summary of the tests that were still to run. But again, like I said, tapos na yung ating refurbishment, almost done. Only 334 left in quarantine. That should be cleared very soon. All right? Wala pa siya eh. Hindi pa siya na-final. Hindi na. Brand new yon. Yung 10,000 will be brand new. So doon sila papasok sa configuration after the mock elections. Yes. Go ahead.
Do you see this as being weaponized by candidates against candidates?
I guess that's possible, which is why it's very important for the candidates themselves to be upfront about what they do. Because remember, they will be asked to submit documents to prove that they complied. Meron tayong ganon. So it'll be their word against whoever tries to make up stories against them. If they don't have any evidence of what they did, then that becomes a very one-sided story. So it's in their interest to be very upfront about how they did their campaigning. Yes. From ngayon wala pa. That's pretty much what they're doing now. Well, ang comment ko dyan has always been that why are people waiting for Comelec to do anything about it? Diba? Look, sinasabi natin na hindi pa sila kandidato, right? So if they're doing this, then they're doing this as private citizens. And if they're doing this well, I think that's pretty obvious. The other day, I saw a picture of a rally with an unmasked child. That's despicable, to be honest. You're talking about children, okay? Children, and the candidates have to be more responsible than that. I don't know whose rally it was, but I saw a picture of that. So, yeah. I think they should do what they feel is necessary and right under these circumstances. Yes, go ahead.
Violation person,
They can file the complaint with the Comelec office, do sa CCC, which will be headquartered in that city and municipality. Yes. May ano yan, it's a multi-agency committee, right? So the EO will be one of the members of the CCC. Joint siya, joint.
How long do you think the process Friday? Kailan sa kaya dapat?
Alam mo, meron tayong schedule niyan eh. Nasa resolution kasi yun. It was approved. Okay, sorry. It was approved yesterday. It's to be uploaded. Sorry naman. But it was approved by the NBank yesterday. No. Paano yun? Ayan. Parang familiar yan sa akin. You stop that. Okay. What? Sorry. No. Complaint talaga. Yes.
Sa cancellation ng mga party list at pag-party, may procure power ba yung Comelec na i-cancel or based talaga sa mga mga reklamo?
Pagdating sa accreditation, merong kapangyarihan ng Comelec to review all of that, obviously. Kasi sa amin hinihingi yung accreditation eh. So hindi mo kailangan ng kaso in that respect. But when you're talking about disqualification of an existing or accredited organization, kailangan may complainant ka.
Director, pag-movement candidate po, the same period of time rather than 5 days.
I believe they were given the same time, yes. Oo, ganun din. Okay lang.
I don't know if you're able to include the answer.
Oh.
So then you really high petition and what were the grounds raised?
For Tiburcio, I think the principal ground raised was identity. That something to the effect that BBM is not BBM. It's not the real guy. Yung lihay-lihay, I'm not word perfect with it. Hanapin natin ang kopya. Before the elections, before it becomes irrelevant. Go ahead. Louder, louder. Hindi ko madinig. No? No. Look, the second division clarified its grant of the motion to extend, right? Nakita niyo ba yung order ng hindi pa? Nakita niyo na. And they clarified, number one, the Comelec does have the authority to disregard procedural rules, which is normal. Even the courts do it. Second, the second division saw that there was a need to resolve this issue rather than postpone it to a later date. So, tinuloy, right? So yun lang naman yun eh. There's no special treatment there. And in other cases, it has been done that motions to admit, motions to extend, things like that have been granted. Again, if in the interest of justice, such a grant should be given, and the Comelec gives that extension. Wala pang response sa dyan, that particular question. I have no idea. Was it raised in a formal pleading? That was not mentioned in the order. Well, I can't speculate as to the mind of the commission, but it doesn't seem to be relevant to the issue being resolved. The issue being resolved was whether or not to grant an extension. That might have been considered an extraneous matter. I don't know. Let's see if they have another promulgation. But based on the order, that was not taken up, and I can only assume that because it was not necessary for the final resolution of the question at hand.
Kind of intimates a insider relationship from the public that casts a long shadow.
All right. I think essentially what the division did was to note that, don't you think? I mean, to take that for what it was given, and nevertheless, that notion would not have any bearing on whether or not the motion for extension was granted. So I think we'll leave it at that. Yes, go ahead. Sarah, yung nakapag-preliminary conference na ba yung lihay-lihay? Could you find out?
Monday pa lang siya Monday.
Alam ko itong recent lang. Naku-confuse na ako sa dami ng
Oh, yes, sir. Meron pa palang iba na
There's one part about the institution, right?
Yes.
Moments of advance.
Nag-ano sila, nag-counter sila. Oo.
So, and that's also in the second division.
That's also in the second division, yes.
Saan pa yan, sir?
For yung BBM versus TVM, I think that's nuisance. Nuisance. Cancellation. High profile, wala. Ito lang. Okay, ganito. We'll put together a briefer for all the different BBM things. Bill of exception. Sino nag-file niyan?
Okay. Parang ano lang, sir, continuing objection to the extension.
Okay. No, that would be I suppose an interlocutory order. I-resolve yan bago matapos lahat ng before magkaroon ng final decision. But it doesn't stop anything.
Okay, so it's the MRs 29, we continue with the 26.
Yes.
And
We will brief you after the video. Okay? I think that's 10 to 11. Mabilis lang yan, no? Procedural. Well, after the preliminary conference, the parties will be given 3 days to submit their written memoranda. So only after 3 days tayo magbibilang ng submitted for resolution. Once it's submitted for resolution, I really can't predict how long the division will take to decide, but I imagine it won't be too long. I can assume, I can probably guess that it would be before that time. Yes. No, not that I know of, and wasn't he pardoned for that? He received the pardon for that, if I'm not mistaken.
Restored the kanyang full right.
Yes. Pretty much, yes.
Director, tama po ba, sir? The nuisance granted at the BBM versus the Court of Market is also the second division.
Yes. Mukhang mapupunta sa second div lahat. Yes.
Ano po yung the deadline for the submission of the official and verified website, social media accounts, you mentioned.
That will have to be amended.
It will also have to be extended.
Yes.
Pero wala pa, sir, na deadline.
Wala pa deadline. Wala pa ako nakikitang resolution of that petition and intervention. Oo nga, but that doesn't mean that nag-grant yung petition and intervention. Yes. No, because they submitted on the 16th. So wala rin, hindi naman na-consume yung buong oras eh. So umabot pa rin tayo doon sa 26 na preliminary conference. Sila magde-decide on their own. If they feel that it's necessary to consolidate separate actions, then they will do that.
For now, separate docket numbers.
Right now, separate docket numbers pa sila. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah, I appreciate that, and I appreciate how difficult it is to rely on FOI requests, because obviously madugo yan, no? That's a long process. We'll try to facilitate and streamline the release of these documents. I just ask for your patience. You know, we're doing this. Of course, I understand. Right. Well, okay, I understand that, and the Comelec understands also, of course, that the story is incomplete without the Comelec's side, obviously. Always. So yes, we will avoid that in the future and we will try to streamline the release process. We totally understand. We just beg for your indulgence.
Natuloy daw po sabi niya sa yung pre-con. Yung
Sige. Okay. Natuloy daw yung pre-con ni Lihay-Lihay. We'll include that in the briefer. Okay? Natuloy daw. Yung kay Lihay-Lihay nga. Yung pre-con. Oo.
Tomorrow na lang yung update.
Kasama na yun sa updates.
Any update on the debate, sir? Paano yung mga, especially sir, yung post, kung talk about post and talk about the people who will Q&A.
We will let you know. Thank you very much. Okay? Preliminary conference. Second division? Well, yeah. First. Lihay-lihay. Okay. Sama-sama na lang bukas para para hindi tayo nanghuhula. All right? Kasi akala ko naman nag-move on na tayo. Just kidding.
Yung PowerPoint, baka pwede pa.
We'll share it with you. Yes. Papadala namin sa sa ICT. Now, ha? Virtual na lang tayo bukas. Virtual na tayo bukas. Masyado tayong disruptive dito.
Question daw po sa Zoom.
Anong question sa Zoom?
Sir, would you know if Marcos's motion to have an in-person oral argument, iba pa sa preliminary?
Hindi pa narurule on. Probably tomorrow. Oh, marami daw questions. Questions sa Zoom. Okay, sorry. Okay, from Donna Pazibugan. Are aspirants, especially those who substituted, allowed to be a member of two political parties, as in the case of the president who remains with PDP Laban, though he is supposed to run under another party, and Mayor Sara Duterte, who rejoined the Hugpong party when she is running under Lakas? That really depends on the political parties you're talking about. If the political party has a rule against multiple memberships, then that rule will apply. Wala namang connection ng Comelec dyan sa ginagawa nila. If you recall, the Comelec basically stays away from party matters, right? Unless there is something that that impacts the Comelec's performance of its duties. Katulad halimbawa nung pag-submit ng magkahiwalay or magkaaway na authorized signatories. Doon lang tayo nag-intervene. Otherwise, the rule is that the parties have their own rules. Yun ang masusunod.
Unless it's also complaint, pag walang complaint, walang problema.
Wala. Okay. Okay, Donna, yung compliance to the Comelec deadline to submit, please wait for the amendment. Questions on Marcos Precon. What time po ang Marcos Precon tomorrow? What will specifically happen during the Precon and what will happen next after it? The Precon itself is procedural, where they'll clarify points in the petition. There'll be questions to both sides about whether or not the issues are clear, whether or not the issues have been joined. It's expected to be a very brief hearing. And after that, the parties will be given 3 days to submit their respective memoranda, at which point the case will be submitted for decision, for resolution. But ito pa? Marami pa? Okay. For the in-person campaigning from Donna also, are LGUs allowed to reject or refuse to give permits to candidates? Won't this put non-incumbent or opposition candidates at a disadvantage? Under the rules, the LGUs, which have the authority to grant permits, can only deny a permit on a single ground, that a prior permit has been applied for or granted for the same location and the same time. Okay? Yun lang ang dahilan for denying a permit to rally. Right? Let me be very clear. If a permit to rally is applied for, the only time it can be denied is if a permit to rally has already been granted for the same place at the same time. Okay? So that's the only ground, and that is appealable to the Comelec. Our aspirants, especially those who substitute. Oh, okay, that's done. Yeah, I think that's all. All right. Any other questions? Lana? All right. Yeah. Municipal, yes. Municipal. Okay, so briefer tayo tomorrow on the Marcos cases. Okay? Yes. We will send it to you. Pag nailabas na yung soft copy, we'll post it on iSteam. Wag muna. Okay. Okay? Thank you very much. Oh! Huh? 29. November? No, ng party list. Oh, kasi magkaka-raffle after that eh. Di ba? Pero wala pang schedule yung raffle we're still working on the raffle schedule.
Sir, clarification lang ang oras po yung prefer virtual.
Bukas ng hapon. Hapon 1:30 ha. Para patapusin muna natin sila. Para kompleto na.
Sir, yung panelist for a credit party list,
We'll try to release it on the 30. Depende yan sa availability niyan eh. Okay. Oh. Bakit? Comelec elections walang holiday. Kayo din wala din kayong holiday. All right, thank you very much. Yung alin?
Yung sa physical campaign. Reso.
It should be out today, actually. Akala ko nga nailabas na eh. Wag muna. Ha? Wag muna.